Hey guys, and welcome to this week's video. This week's all about not being enough. This past month, I've went through some stuff that made me not feel good. I literally felt like I wasn't a good person. I wasn't doing enough to become the best person I can be. And it made me feel terrible, it made me feel sad. So today I thought it'd be a good idea to sit down with my little brother, Nolan, and talk about not being enough. Has he ever felt like it and how he gets over it when he does?
Ready as ever, man.
So Nolan, we both grew up with the same parents, so who drove you to reach those goals?
I think that myself is probably the biggest influencer as far as what drives me to reach my goals. But I feel like at the same time, I feel like you and our parents have also been there a lot, always kind of driving me to reach my potential, reach where I think I can end up. I think that's a really good trait about our family is we did grow up, together, so we're very competitive with each other. But it's a very good competitive nature because I want to see you do well and I want to see me do well. Maybe I want to be a little better, maybe you want to be a little better, but it's good competition. Obviously our parents have always been really, really big influencers as far as driving us to, reach the potential they believe we can.
So over time, I'm sure you've had this already, but what does it feel like when you don't reach those goals?
Well, it's not good. That is for sure. I feel like with anybody, not reaching the goal that you have set in place for yourself is obviously not a good feeling. It's almost like that empty feeling for you. But I feel like for you and I feel like we've always kind of had that bigger emptiness because we know we can do it if we really put our mind to it. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. When I don't reach a goal, I usually not pout about it for a day, but I think about it for about a day. Why didn't I reach it? What could I have done to reach it potentially? And then also, as hard as it is, maybe a week or 2 weeks, if I do want to try again for that goal, I start, kind of that process again of, trying to get back into completing that goal. Or even if I'm not completing the same goal, completing a similar goal, but this time doing it better and making sure that I hit this because like we said before, I don't like not achieving something when I try to put my mind to it.
So Nolan, what should we do to approach goals to be successful? What steps should we take prior to it to make sure we accomplish those goals?
I think with any goal you want to have, as cliche as it does sound, have steps to getting there. And I'll obviously start out small. You want to make the biggest or the smallest steps possible and then slowly work your way up. I know for me, whenever I set a goal for myself, the hardest thing is making that first thing, getting that first step done. But once I get that first step done, I realize, okay, I can do it. I can do it. And so I feel like the hardest part of any of that is the end steps when you're really putting all the pieces together to achieve that goal. Because it really does. It's kind of like crunch time when you have a project due at midnight. You're like, all right, here's the time I got to, really show up and do what I possibly can to make this goal a reality.
And so this one's sort of from the heart, Nolan. What does it mean to not be enough?
What does it mean to not be enough? Well, I feel like not being enough is letting yourself down. Or letting your parents down or anybody. If you're not enough for something, I feel as if there is a place in your heart where it really hits harder than even a failure almost for a goal. I mean, if you're not enough, if somebody tells you they don't want you or, let's say you're interviewing for a job and they tell you that you didn't have enough credentials or you were not enough for this position, that does not make you feel good. There's an empty piece inside of you. There's an empty spot in you that really you feel like, well, why am I not enough? And I feel like in turn with that, the best part or the best thing to do when you're not enough is find that one thing or find those 2 or 3 things that maybe that person had on you, that was the reason you weren't enough, and then kind of transitioning that into building another goal for yourself.
And the last thing I have, Nolan, do you have any words of advice you would give to maybe an incoming freshman or somebody who's about to graduate college and go off into the real world?
So I'm going to quote you on this one also. I feel like my freshman year coming in, you said a statement that has stuck with me still to this day where you said, I'm excited to see where this year takes you. And boy, were you right. And especially, even your friends, I always had that special connection with some of your friends because you guys were older than me and you guys had that advice that I had no idea what I was doing. I'm an 18-year-old going to college, actually 17-year-old going to college. I have no idea what I'm doing. But the advice that you guys gave me really transitioned me because it kind of puts a different perspective into things because you guys have already experienced what I think I know. It's kind of like your parents. You think you're smarter than your parents. You're not. You never will be, because they have 40 years of experience on you. You guys were not my parents, but 3 years older than me, already been through everything. So the advice I would give to an incoming freshman, a guy about to graduate, is listen to the people that have already been through what you have been through. And I know sometimes it's hard, because as humans we like to think that we know better, but in reality the hardest thing about being us is saying I don't know better, and having that person who cares about you tell you the advice that you need to hear. And the hardest thing is really taking that to heart and then putting it to use.
Thank you guys for watching. This video was pretty serious. It wasn't really fun or anything like that, but it was from the heart. This means a lot to me, and it makes me feel a certain way, and I don't know why, but it does. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you got something from this. This next couple weeks, I'm going to be out of town a lot. So a lot of this content's going to be really interesting, and I'm really excited to make it. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to follow along on my journey, and we will have a lot of fun. Once again, thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this, and I will see you guys in the next video.